Hey, how's it going? Uh, Alan here. Um, I figured after my last video, where I mostly wanted to make it as a placeholder, and like I wrote in the description, I wanted to test out the low light. Kind of wanted to make another video and talk a little bit more about why I actually want to do this. I figured that's a good place to start if I'm gonna have a series of videos doing the trail. Um, don't worry, I'll have a gear video coming. I might make it after this or over the next day or so. But why? This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. Got the idea probably like I said in my last video, probably 20 years ago. As a kid, being taken up to the Smokies and seeing the signs for the trail. And I guess honestly, I guess it goes even farther back because I remember even as a kid, like younger kid, um, driving on back roads or just any road in town and seeing a path that went somewhere. It was always like entrancing and intriguing. Like I wanted to know where it went. I always felt like there was something down there, something to see. So even then, I always wanted to walk that and see what there was to find. Maybe it was just a short trail that went through a little stretch of woods to the back of a business, or the back of a lumber yard, or it was a longer trail that you know went to a waterfall, or it went to an arch somewhere. Just I mean, we don't have too many waterfalls and arches here in Louisiana where I'm from. Those came later. Other trails I hiked, but it's always been in the back of my mind because I already had that idea to do, like I already had that like draw to different paths, and then seeing the Appalachian Trail, I started like the information started to emerge about it. I remember one time in the Smokies, I don't remember if it was like in the Smokies that I got it or if I got it from one of my parents. It's kind of fuzzy in my head, but there was this packet that had all kinds of, it had like guidebooks and maps for the Smokies, and I remember looking at that, and I believe it had like there was a separate guidebook like just for the Appalachian Trail through the Smokies, and then there was like a map that had all the trails, which blew my mind then, like seeing, I mean, it still does really, honestly, just like seeing all the numerous trails that you could go and take through the mountains and see any number of things. But I remember seeing that there was the one trail, the Appalachian Trail that like ran all the way across it. And it seemed like that would be, a pretty amazing thing to hike. And then, over years, I started finding out more and more about it as I got older. Started learning how to do research. Got talked to my dad about it more. It was a big dream that he had. He always talked about it being something he wanted to do, and so of course that just like fanned the fire for me, and you know. So, anyways, about 10 years ago or so now, I had started to actually, um, you know, get some gear and prepare, save money and do everything, and I had to kind of put that on hold. And when I was about like halfway prepared or so, and since then, it's like I've constantly had these moments where like I've wanted to do it, and like it keeps popping up in my head, like, like, I mean, I've had like jobs, or I've been in school, and like had all these things that I felt like were keeping me away from it. But it was always the constant that the trail kept calling me. And throughout this time, I never stopped reading the books. I started finding, like back in 2004, 2005, they had the documentaries that, like, Carolina Cruisers documentary, Lion King's documentary. That one's called Hiking with Freedom. The first one is Appalachian Impressions. Yeah, Appalachian Impressions is the 2 disc thing. I highly recommend both of those. They're amazing DVDs. If you haven't watched those documentaries, they're great. Um, both in their own rights, for different reasons, they're amazing. Actually, one of my favorite songs ever came from the Hiking for Freedom DVD. It's like Scott McCurry tune. Uh, I always end up going back to it. All Over the Road, cool song. But but, like I've always been like keeping up with it, and I finally reached this point where I don't like. I realize that I don't. I'm 36 years old, and I don't have. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. Um, I mean, I've got a good job, but jobs are replaceable. And fortunately, actually, my boss, he actually is really amazing, and he wants me to come back afterwards. So that's pretty cool. Doesn't suck to have a job to go back to afterwards. But I but I realized that this is something that if I keep putting it off the way that I have, I'll never do it. And at what point in your life are you supposed to start going after your dreams? Like, when are you supposed to? When are you supposed to, like, to actually start walking down those paths? When are you supposed to get in that car and drive it? There's got to be a point when you're going to do the things that you want. And uh, and it just it sparked me. It made me realize that this is something I need to do now. Like, it's the trail's been in my head for so long and haunted me for so long, and just been calling me, that I feel like if I don't do it now, I may never do it. So I'm going out to do the trail now. But besides the call, like, what else? I mean, a lot of people say that it's a challenge and they want the challenge. And, I mean, if I didn't throw my hat in that ring, I'd be lying. Um, I mean, there's always a part of you that's like, can I hike over 2,000 miles? I figure I can. I figure there's a lot of people that do it and have done it in, like, way worse condition than me. So I can do it. I can make it. Um, Also, the community has always looked like one of the most beautiful communities in the world, and I'm definitely a fan of beautiful people and beautiful things. So that's definitely that's a draw. I'm really interested to see all the different kinds of people that I'm gonna get to meet. I've watched a lot of the videos on YouTube, and I've read a lot of people's blogs and trail journals and books, and I haven't read a single one that seemed like they wouldn't be a person worth getting to know. That says something to me. That really tells me that there's something about that challenge. There's something about the experience. There's something about the type of person it takes to do it that I think inherently makes them worth knowing. And I want to know them. I want to meet everybody. If you're watching this and you're going to be out there, I hope I meet you. I hope I do. Um, and if you're watching this and you're not going to be out there, maybe you'll show up and I'll get to meet you. That would be great. Um, but I'm really excited. It's coming up. I'm gonna be taking off at the beginning of April. Uh, Leaving from Amicalola, I believe on the third. I think it's gonna be like the third. That's what it's looking like. So probably a lot of people. That'll be fine. Like I said, I want to meet people. And so it's about 8 weeks, and I'm getting really excited. It's really set in that this is a real thing. It's really set in that I'm gonna be finally getting out there and getting after that adventure. So I'm starting to kind of get butterflies. I'll be honest with you. Um, I'm not scared, and I'm not nervous in any way. Like I don't feel like I have any reason to be. Like I don't know what it's gonna be, but I kind of do. It's gonna be tough, probably tougher than I think. There's gonna be a lot of rainy days, probably more than I think there's gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of nice days, and probably more of those than I think there's gonna be. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of great things, and and I'll be able to just enjoy it, and be I'll be able to spend all my time outside. I'll be able to be out with the trees and like fresh air. I was thinking about that today. It's gonna be amazing. I was driving my car home from work and got like a lung full of exhaust. Just thinking how much better it's gonna be to be out there with some fresh air in my lungs. It's gonna be glorious, man. It really is. Another thing that I'm really looking forward to is getting a good amount of time to kind of really just I don't know, let my soul rest, man, and be just completely energized by by all the wonderful environments that I'll be in. You know, like I said, I've loved being out on trails and in the woods, um, and it's always the best feeling. Actually, one of the things that really got me spurred off was last 4th of July. We went to Cloudland Canyon State Park in northern Georgia, and it had been a while since I'd actually been somewhere where there were mountains. Because, like I said, I live in southern Louisiana. There's not a whole lot of mountains, and so when I got there and I saw the view from the canyon, it just set off some kind of firework in my brain, and my feet just started moving of their own volition, and it was like I felt like I was 5 years old again. I just had this boundless energy, and I just wanted to walk every trail like immediately, and play the disc golf course there. I absolutely love disc golf, and we finally have a couple of good courses here, so that's kind of exciting. um, yeah, so that was exciting, and that really got me thinking about needing to be out there again, and that was part of what also sparked me to want to do this. Actually, I got this. I'm sure you can see this bandana here, which is really awesome. A good friend of mine and his girlfriend, they spotted this thing, and they thought about me and held on to it, and They hooked me up with it, and this was before they even knew that I was actually thinking about doing it again. You know, and it was a cool little sign. It was like, Alan, you need to be doing the trail. That and actually this camera I'm filming with shortly after that. This is in October. I was at a motorcycle show in Orlando, and on a whim, right? Because I'm thinking, I was already thinking about doing the trail, and I was thinking that I wanted to do videos because I'd already been watching people's videos, and I just thought it would be great to be able to, have a way to like that to be able to share with all my friends and family and anybody else that wanted to watch. And so the GoPro guys were there. They had the big truck, and it was like right next to our booth. I mean, I could have thrown a rock from our booth to their truck, and or even like spit there with a favorable wind. And they were doing giveaways. They were doing like 3 or 4 giveaways every day. All you had to do is go sign up, and you would get like $100 off of any model GoPro, and then or possibly win one of the sessions. And obviously I got it. I'm telling you the story. You know how this ends. I won one of the sessions, and it just like, like that was the other kicker that made me realize for sure that that this was something that needed to happen. So I was thinking about doing it in 2017, but you know, when you've got the steam and you've got the motivation and everything's just flowing, you just do it. You don't you don't question it, and everything was going the right way, so I didn't question it. I've just said, you know what, this is what's going to happen, and I'm going to do it. So I've been rambling for a while. Like I said before, I am going to make a gear video. I have pretty much everything. I got one thing I'm going to replace, but I have everything else that I need now. And I have the bulk of my savings together. I got a little bit left I want to put together, but that's not too far out. So I'm going to do a gear video, and then I'm also going to do I'll probably do some videos talking about like how I've been personally preparing since I'm down in southern Louisiana, where there's not mountains. I can just throw my pack on and walk up and down. So I've come up with my own regimen for getting myself ready for it. So I'll do a video about that, and they'll probably those videos will hopefully be a little more structured than this. This was kind of spur of the moment, and I just kind of wanted to go ahead and talk about it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, feel free. Go ahead and drop them below. If you want to follow me and see what happens with me on my adventures, feel free to subscribe. And if you like the video, don't like it, give me thumbs up, thumbs down, all those good things. I'd really appreciate it. So, without further ado, my name is Alan. Thank you very much, and have a great night.